Welcome Internet to Aaron Plays. This will be a video regarding, well, as you can see from the box there, Breakout Normandy by L1 Hill, circa 1993. In this video I'll be going through the setup and the preparations for beginning the actual game. In my prior video I made a few little errors regarding some of these charts and tracks. So this one here is the turn track, and on there I placed one of these little markers. Let me get that focus, which says clear. So that starts on the 6th of June. On the impulse track, which is this long one here, which records how many impulses the turn and when the turn will actually end, I place the advantage marker, which starts with the Allied advantage, which is here, and also the actual, bizarre may seem, the turn track marker. This will actually be rising as and when the impulses go up. Maybe they should have called this one an impulse marker rather than turn. And you've got this sunset DRM, which is a modifier to the sunset. Sits in a box underneath that with the impulse. You've got a victory point mark track at the top here, which I incorrectly said is where you also keep track of supplies. However, there is actually on this side over here a supply track. So look at the board next time. Okay, so those are where the tracks start. Then you've got the place of bombardment markers. You've got here the British naval bombardment and the British air, and over to this side you've got the American versions of. So that's the next thing you set up. Then it says place the initial German units on the board, which I've done according to the actual plan or chart that came in the game. So it tells me what areas these are sitting. Again, if you look on the back of a counter, on the back there, the little circle, it tells you which area it's in. So that starts in area 6, which is here. So that unit starts there. Any marker which has a number on this side here tells you what game turn they arrive as what day turn they arrive as reinforcements. So that would arrive on the 11th of June. I've also placed the Allied units for the beginning of the game. So you've got the British paratroopers effectively ready to land there. That's where they're planned to land. And you've got the American paratroopers in St. Mary Église. What is this one called? Pont l'Abbé, ready to actually drop as well. And I've placed the corresponding units in their invasion beaches, ready to land on the morning of 6th of June. Now, the sequence of play is different on the 6th of June as opposed to every other day. And this is on the actual back of the rule book. You've got the sequence of play. On D-Day, you actually have an airborne phase where you land the airborne units, a naval bombardment phase, an air bombardment phase, and then an amphibious assault phase. Then you have a daylight movement attack phase. So that's a normal using of the impulses, which we've gone through. An evening refit phase, and then a night group phase. And then after turn 1, you just, all those airborne, naval, air bombardment phase and amphibious phase are shortened to a dawn reinforcement phase. So before we actually begin the game, let's have a look at the key component, the rule book. Breakout Normandy. Okay, it's definitely a product of its day. Typical Avalon Hill at the time, you've got lots of condensed text, no real colour than, well, you've got a bit of blue in there, and lots of little diagrams on the first page, and then after that it's just pretty much text after text after text. However, I do remember when I was reading, playing this before and reading it now, that the rules were pretty tight. There's not much errata, and this was effectively the fourth game in their area series. You started off with Storm over Arnhem, going on to Turning Point. Casino was next. Then Turning Point, Stalingrad, and then this one. So they're sort of, by that time, sort of pretty much perfected the system. There are slight differences between each of the actual games. They sort of go up in scale as you move through. Like the first one, Storm over Arnhem, was pretty much squad level. Then something Casino, Thunder at Casino, that one was a platoon level. The Stalingrad was pretty much at battalion level, and this one's at regimental level. But rules wise, you go up to, you've got 13 pages. So this is the last page, page 13. You then got the victory conditions and some optional rules. Then you've got the extended game, which takes it beyond the first week, which I won't be looking at in this series as yet. Nice little glossary. You have all the words and terms. And then something which is relatively new for that time, a series of examples of play. And this I found very useful at the time, and as I've been relearning the game, found pretty useful now. And okay, black and white, nowadays these will all be colour, but a fair amount of detail in how things work in the game system itself. Then also designer's notes, always useful. It's nice to know what the great men are thinking when they design these things for us, and why they design these things for us. And that does sort of help A, understand the game, and B, helps your understanding and playing of the game. So quite extensive designer's notes, again, more than useful. And then finally, the game as history. You know, what actually was happening on those certain days back in June 1944. Again, quite a bit of detailed history, and I do like a bit of history in the book. And then that's it. You know, pretty much a few photographs, and then on the last page we've got all the charts and tables, but they have a separate charts and tables on the back of the setup charts. So yes, pretty nice for its time. Stands up pretty well to today's, except for maybe the lack of colour, and tight, which is what you want in a rule book. So that takes us, we're pretty much good to go. The boys are in the landing boats. The paratroops are going to land. We're going to have some air and naval bombardment to begin the 6th of June, which I'll start in my next video. I intend to, as I say, play the first week through solo, see if it does stand up solo. On the box it says it can be played solo. Again, I'm going to be trying the best for both sides, but you know, the dice could fluctuate for either side. Let's see how it stands up. Until next time, remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and as always, any comments much appreciated. Bye Internet.